GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. We'll start with the shocking police officer shooting during an e-bike robbery probe, then check today's traffic snarls from subway closures and the Carlton-Wellesley construction. Later, we'll preview the Blue Jays-Red Sox clash and a new ramp office. Nathan, what do you make of that?
Brews and Chews kicks off this Saturday at the Evergreen Brickworks, featuring over 30 local breweries, artisanal food vendors, and live acoustic sets starting at noon.
Tickets are $25 for adults, $15 for seniors and students, and children under 12 enter free. They sell out quickly both online and at the gate.
The event runs all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with family-friendly activities including a beer pairing workshop, a cheese-making demonstration, and a kids' craft corner.
Plenty to explore, but first we jump into the news. Stay tuned as we dive in together right after this. Here are our top stories.
A Toronto police officer was shot while probing an electric bike robbery, sustaining injuries that required hospitalization. The incident unfolded as officers responded to a reported e-bike theft in the city. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Police say a uniformed officer was hit by gunfire while responding to a call about a stolen electric bike in the city. The officer arrived at the scene on a busy intersection, approached the suspect, and was struck as the suspect fled on a second e-bike. Paramedics rushed the wounded officer to a nearby hospital, where he remains in stable condition. Detectives are now canvassing the area for witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage to identify the shooter. No other officers were injured, and the stolen bike has not yet been recovered. The investigation continues as officers work to locate the suspect and bring charges. The police department has not released the officer's name pending family notification. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
New 2026 data revealed 10 children died in 2025 from electric scooter and bike injuries across Toronto, underscoring rising safety concerns for young riders. Dev Shohri has the full story.
10 children lost their lives last year after being struck or thrown from electric scooters and electric bikes, according to the latest safety data released this week. Officials say the fatalities occurred across Toronto, with victims ranging from toddlers to early teens, all injured in collisions that involved either a motorized scooter or a pedal assist bike. The 2025 figures pushed the national child death toll from these devices higher, prompting municipal leaders to revisit rider age limits and helmet use policies. Health researchers point to the rapid rise in shared vehicle programs and the lack of dedicated lanes as contributing factors. The report warns that without tighter controls, the trend could keep climbing. Dev Shohri, GMNA News, Toronto.
Construction on Carlton and Wellesley streets has forced partial lane closures and delayed buses, disrupting traffic for local residents. Multiple projects are underway, extending the impact throughout the neighborhood. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Crews are busy on both Carlton and Wellesley, where a series of utility and sidewalk upgrades have forced lane reductions on each street. On Carlton, a single lane remains open in each direction, while the opposite side is shut for trench work. Wellesley sees the northbound lane closed entirely, leaving only the southbound lane for two-way traffic. The narrowed roadways have pushed rush hour traffic onto side streets, creating bottlenecks at the intersection. Local bus routes serving the neighborhood are running about 10 minutes behind schedule as drivers navigate the detours. Residents have voiced frustration over the lingering delays, but officials say the projects will finish before the end of the month. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Cabbagetown.
Power returned to East End Toronto after a blackout that left more than 30,000 customers without electricity overnight. Toronto Hydro traced the loss to a supply failure from Hydro One. Dev Shohri has the full story.
Power came back on late Wednesday night after a blackout knocked out electricity for more than 30,000 customers in Toronto's East End. The outage began around 9 p.m., when a loss of supply from Hydro One cut power to the area bounded by Lawrence Street to the north and Woodbine Avenue to the east. Toronto Hydro crews worked through the night, restoring service by early Friday morning. Residents reported dark homes and stalled appliances throughout the night, but by sunrise most neighborhoods had light again. The utility confirmed the fault originated with Hydro One's transmission line and that repairs were completed by the following morning. Dev Chauvry, GMNA News, Lawrence.
Ontario wineries say they would welcome a return of U.S. wines to store shelves if tariff tensions ease, hoping reduced duties could revive cross-border trade. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Ontario vintners are telling the industry they'd gladly make room for American bottles if the lingering tariff dispute softens. Producers across the province say a reduction in the current duties would let United States labels flow back onto retail shelves and into restaurant cellars, easing the strain on both sides of the border. They note that the present tariffs have kept many popular American brands out of the market, limiting consumer choice and adding cost to local distributors. Winemakers argue that a mutually lower rate would not only broaden selection for shoppers, but also help stabilize the regional wine economy as the trade fight drags on. The call is simple: lift the tariffs, and the wines can move freely again. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Niagara.
The fire chief is calling for stricter lithium battery rules after 4 fires in a single day, and we'll dive deeper. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. The Crown has withdrawn criminal charges against a man accused of fatally shooting a 15-year-old boy in Toronto's West End, a case that dates back over a year. Dev Chauvry has the full story.
Authorities announced today that the Crown has withdrawn all criminal charges against the man previously accused of fatally shooting a 15-year-old boy in Toronto's West End. The teenager was killed more than a year ago, and the suspect had faced charges that are now being dropped. Prosecutors said new information and evidentiary challenges led to the decision, though no further details were released. The case, which has lingered in the community since the shooting, will now be closed without a trial. Local residents recall hearing sirens that night and the subsequent police presence that lingered for weeks. Families and neighbors who have been waiting for answers are left with unanswered questions as the legal process ends. Dev Chauvry, GMNA News, West End.
Toronto Fire Chief demands tighter lithium battery regulations after 4 fires in 24 hours, one injuring 4 people, urging faster legislative action. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
4 separate lithium-ion battery fires erupted across the city within a single 24-hour period, prompting Toronto's fire chief to call for immediate legislative changes. One of the blazes left 4 people with injuries, while the others were contained without casualties. The chief emphasized that the rapid succession of incidents points to a gap in current safety standards governing battery design, storage, and disposal. He urged municipal and provincial officials to accelerate the review of existing codes and to introduce stricter testing and labeling requirements. The push comes as Toronto firefighters continue to respond to the growing number of battery-related emergencies, seeking to prevent further incidents. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Toronto. Oakville Municipal Council has enacted a 1-year moratorium on constructing new data centers, citing community concerns over the rapid AI-related build-out. The move reflects broader provincial debates on AI infrastructure. Dev Chauvry has the full story.
Oakville Council approved a moratorium that will pause any new data center projects for the next 12 months, starting on 12 August 2026. Officials said the pause comes after residents voiced worries that the surge in AI-driven facilities is straining local resources and changing neighborhood character. The measure halts all permits and construction approvals for data centers until the moratorium lifts, giving the town time to review zoning, power demand, and noise concerns. Across the province, other municipalities are watching Oakville's approach as they wrestle with similar pressures from expanding AI infrastructure. Council has scheduled a series of public hearings over the next 6 months to gather further input before any future approvals. Dev Shourie, GMNA News, Oakville.
Ontario police seized nearly 4,000 cannabis plants and $1.5 million in cash during a Brampton raid, charging 2 men with illegal cultivation. Dev Shourie has the full story.
Police in Brampton seized an illegal cannabis operation on Friday, confiscating nearly 4,000 plants and cash estimated at $1.5 million. Officers from the Ontario Provincial Police and local forces executed the raid after months of surveillance, finding a sprawling indoor grow in a warehouse on Queen Street. 2 men were arrested at the scene and charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking and operating an unlicensed cultivation site. The seized material will be destroyed and the suspects face court dates later this month. The bust comes as provincial authorities continue to crack down on unlicensed grows despite a legal market for licensed producers. Investigators say the operation was among the largest seizures in the region this year. Dev Shourie, GMNA News, Brampton.
Ontario auto theft fell 8.4% in the first half of 2026, reflecting the national strategy launched in 2024 to reverse earlier increases. Dev Shourie has the full story.
Auto theft in Ontario fell 8.4% in the first half of 2026, data from the Equité Association shows. The province recorded fewer stolen vehicles compared with the same period last year, marking a reversal after a spike that prompted the federal government to roll out a national auto theft strategy in 2024. Police forces across the province say the coordinated approach, which includes targeted enforcement, improved data sharing, and public awareness campaigns, is beginning to pay off. While the overall number of incidents remains significant, the downward trend offers a glimpse of progress as officers continue to focus on hot-spot neighborhoods and repeat offenders. Dev Shourie, GMNA News, Toronto.
Now let's turn to our meteorologist for a quick look at the afternoon forecast.
A tightening ridge and a swift northwest jet are keeping Toronto dry, while temperatures climb modestly. On this date, Toronto once scorched to 32.9 degrees Celsius back in 2002, a blistering high that rode the tail of a lingering heat dome. The coldest reading fell to 12.8 degrees Celsius in 2013, a surprise dip during an otherwise mild early August pattern. Normal highs hover around 22 degrees and lows near 15, so today sits comfortably between those historic extremes. Those records remind us how quickly the atmosphere can swing when a strong jet stream either amplifies heat or drags Arctic air south. The live radar is entirely quiet across the Greater Toronto area, with no echoes of rain or snow in sight. That emptiness reflects the high pressure that has been nudging upward, sealing off lift and suppressing convection. Meanwhile, the jet stream streaks overhead at roughly 184 kilometers per hour from the northwest, steering any distant disturbances far to the east. With no moisture being forced upward, the next band of precipitation won't arrive today, and the sky will stay clear as we move from noon into the evening. At noon, the air feels mild at 21 degrees, partly cloudy with humidity near 78%, and a light northwest breeze of 3 kilometers per hour gusting to 20. Pressure is near average and rising, which encourages the descending stable air that is keeping clouds thin and rain at bay. The fast northwest jet aloft reinforces this stability, allowing sunshine to dominate despite the overcast look. Temperatures will edge up to 24 degrees by mid-afternoon before easing to 22 by nightfall. The UV index reads 6, and the strongest wind will be a gentle 10 kilometers per hour from the southwest, barely noticeable. No weather alerts are in effect. With the ridge holding, the day's pattern will transition smoothly into the 5-day outlook. Friday continues the overcast trend with a high near 23 degrees and a low around 17 as the ridge remains anchored. Saturday mirrors Friday, offering another day of cloud cover and similar temperatures while the jet stream stays positioned to the northwest. Sunday introduces a slight change. Clouds thicken and a 55% chance of rain arrives, though highs still linger near 23 and lows climb to 18, signaling a modest warm-up. Monday clears dramatically, with a high of 24 and a low of 18 under a bright sky as high pressure pushes eastward. Tuesday brings the warmest spell, reaching 26 with a low of 18, clear skies persisting under the same northwest jet, completing a week of subtle swings between cloudiness and sunshine. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's easing after subway closures, tonight's Brews and Chews kicks off, and the Chamber's ramp expansion opens a new office. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Line 1 subway is down for the afternoon. Service is suspended from Lawrence West all the way to St. George, and a second block from Lawrence to St. Clair remains closed for Metrolink's construction. Riders heading downtown will need to transfer to the bus network at Lawrence West or use the red-blue line at St. George. Expect heavier crowds on the 73 and 64 buses and longer travel times on the 506 streetcar. On the road, Parliament Street is operating with a single lane between Distillery Lane and the CN Rail Bridge. Traffic is backing up slowly, especially during the rush. Drivers are advised to use Front Street or Jarvis as alternatives. High Park remains closed for weekend maintenance, so access points on Bloor and the park's southern entrances are blocked. The rest of the city's major arteries, Gardiner, Don Valley, Highway 4, are moving freely. Afternoon commuters should plan for a few extra minutes on the subway and the affected streets.
Toronto Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox at Rogers Centre today, a must-watch for any baseball fan, and the win could shift the division race. Grab a seat early for the classic stadium buzz and a chance to catch the ninth-inning fireworks. GLOBL Jam 2025 rolls into the Matami Athletic Center, bringing the world's top under-23 men's and women's basketball squads for a weekend of high-octane competition you won't want to miss. Dog lovers, head over to Stacked Market on the Queensway for Brews and Chews, where happy hour drinks, live music, and free puppuccinos keep both pups and owners in good spirits. Looking ahead, tomorrow night, the Empress of Canada sets sail for the Afro-Carib Fest boat cruise, a floating party of Caribbean and African beats, food and dancing that promises an unforgettable sunset vibe. Tickets sell fast, so lock yours in now and set sail for a night of non-stop rhythm. And now here's Marcus with sports.
The playoff race heats up as Toronto's Jays chase a stretch run. Analysts Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis say the Blue Jays are trending toward a postseason berth, with their odds tightening as they power through a notoriously tough stretch of games. That momentum puts the roster's depth, and the front office's mid-season moves under the microscope heading into the final month. Toronto beat Boston 6-4 at the Rogers Centre on August 12, marking the Jays' third straight victory over the Red Sox. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. opened the eighth with a ground ball single that sparked the rally, reinforcing Toronto's offensive rhythm as the division race tightens. When Toronto acquired Edwin Encarnacion at the 2009 trade deadline, the move was initially seen as a throw-in. Decades later, he's celebrated as one of the franchise's all-time greats, a reminder that a marginal trade can evolve into a cornerstone of club identity. Stay tuned for the next stretch, where every game could tip the balance.
Thanks, Marcus. Ramp, the finance technology platform, just opened its new downtown Toronto office, anchoring its Canadian expansion. The company builds smart corporate cards, automates payments, tax filing, and accounting workflows, all designed for homegrown businesses. By bringing those tools locally, Ramp is giving Toronto-based founders a faster, cheaper way to manage cash flow and stay compliant. The office sits in the heart of the financial district, where the team will work side by side with startups, scale-ups, and established firms, turning the city's fintech ambition into everyday reality. It's a clear vote of confidence in Toronto's tech ecosystem, and it means more jobs, mentorship, and capital staying right here. That's why Ramp matters to the city we call home. Up next, we'll explore how Ontario growers plan a terminal expansion to lower grocery prices, plus the cost of the Ontario line. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Jordan Parker, legendary rock band Rush returns for a one-night, 50-something concert at Scotiabank Arena, promising fans a rare glimpse of their classic sound in Toronto's financial district. The buzz is building and the crowd is already gathering live tonight. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing under the glowing arches of Scotiabank Arena, the crowd buzzing like an electric current as the lights dim and the iconic black and white logo of Rush flickers across the massive LED wall. Fans in vintage tees and homemade signs clutch glowing wristbands, chanting the band's name while the scent of popcorn and roasted peanuts fills the concourse. At exactly 7:30 p.m., the stage erupts with a thunderous drum roll, and guitarist Alex Lifeson's signature riff cuts through the roar. The band launches into Tom Sawyer, and the arena vibrates with every beat, a living tribute to more than 50 years of progressive rock. Between songs, Neil Peart's drum solo draws cheers from a generation that grew up on vinyl, while younger fans capture the moment on their phones, eyes wide with awe. This night isn't just a concert, it's a reunion of a musical legacy that has shaped Toronto's soundscape for decades. Carl Dumont virtually at Scotiabank Arena.
Welcome back. Ontario farmers say the province's food security plan to enlarge the Ontario Food Terminal could streamline supply chains and lower grocery prices, offering a potential boost to affordability across the region. Dev Showri has the full story.
Ontario growers are backing the federal food security strategy's plan to enlarge the Ontario Food Terminal, saying the added capacity could help drive grocery prices down. They point to the terminal's role in consolidating produce from farms across the province, noting that a larger facility would streamline handling, reduce transport distances, and cut handling costs. The government's proposal aims to boost supply chain efficiency by adding more loading bays and refrigerated storage. Growers expect that faster, cheaper movement of fresh fruits, vegetables, and other products will translate into lower shelf price tags for shoppers. The expansion is part of a broader effort to strengthen food security and keep food affordable for Canadians nationwide. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Toronto.
Ontario Line's projected cost has surged to $34 billion, more than triple the original estimate, sparking concerns over funding and timeline for Toronto's new rapid transit corridor. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
The latest Metrolinx update shows the Ontario Line's budget now sits at $34 billion, pushing the figure to more than 3 times what planners originally projected. The surge reflects additional engineering challenges, rising construction costs, and a series of design revisions since the project was first unveiled. The line, intended to run from the downtown core to the East End, was marketed as a faster, subway-style connection to ease congestion on existing routes. Critics point to the widening gap between initial promises and the current financial outlook, while officials say the higher spend is necessary to meet safety standards and future ridership demand today. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Toronto.
Thanks for joining us, Toronto. Today's look at the fire chief's call for stricter lithium battery rules highlighted the safety challenges we all face. We appreciate your trust and we'll be back tomorrow evening with more stories that matter to our city. See you again then.